wanna chill with the big dogs. House on the hill with a big dog. Make it a ride, I'm taking a lot. So it's about time that I get what I got. And it's about time that I get what I need. And yes, I'm needy, I need to succeed. Know what I need it all. So I don't live with my back to the wall. Don't have to answer whenever you call. Who that on the line, it don't matter, dog. Oh, not at all. Oh, what a gift. Just to be rich and not giving a shit. Just to be rich and not giving a shit. Pinky up, I'm gonna take me a sip.
I need the cash, money signs on every bag. Green in the eye of each lad. Pockets so fat like I'm smuggling packs. I only deal with my time in these maps. Role playing the tactician and craft. Art of success, if I dub it, is that. As dinner's in fact guaranteed for a hunter. When I see in the mirror who trumping. I need my anthem to blare with some trumpets. Mama's fair for repair and she also consistently stable and nothing could offset. Me a boss type beat, lead the starship. Stream through outer space. I'm a star, baby boo, better watch the race. And you'll see me live today and die trying to just don't break. Except all the bread we make with 2 hands. Better get your ball together and stretch bands. Do it all for as long as you can. Get your sandwich ready and go ham. The baloney niggas just can't comprehend.
Yo, cash rules everything around me. In that I am drowning, cause I don't know accounting. Blame it on my school system, blame it on my county. In that I am drowning, blame it on my clowning. Blame it on my young and my dumb, and not knowing where it's from, and not knowing where it's going. Might as well throw it in the ocean. As I put my back in motion, might as well throw it on some drinks. Hit a Miami for 2 weeks, might as well throw it on the beach. I don't give a fuck about the economy. They ain't never helping those in poverty. They ain't never coming here to save you. Waiting on that trickle down in your brain boots. You the blood, sweat, and tears of this whole operation, though. You will make it operational, but don't deserve paid vacation, though. I don't know what I look like. Boo boo the fool, I'm losing my cool. I need to make moves, get my community under a groove. Like one nation, so we never lose. Nothing can stop us now. They will not knock us down. We will not chill while they chop us down. That is not simply allowed. I'm not the one to kowtow. Cash rules everything around me. In that I am drowning, cause I don't know accounting. Blame it on my school system, blame it on my county. In that I am drowning, blame it on my clowning. Blame it on my young and my dumb, and not knowing where it's from, and not knowing where it's going. Might as well throw it in the ocean. I put my back in motion, might as well throw it on some drinks. In a Miami for 2 weeks, might as well throw it on the beach. Oh yeah. She love to back it up when we in the club. She love to show me love. Oh yeah. She love to back it up when we in the club. She love to show me love. Oh yeah.
Baby girl, hold it right there. 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 Baby girl, hold it right there.
I would like to be traded to any other team but the New England Patriots.
Big brain predictions. That's what I got.
Take it off, sir.
The Washington football team beat the Steelers.
And that person.
EDP.
Yes, but if we lose this game, I firmly believe we do not need to make playoffs. So
Don't you ever disrespect me.
What is going on, folks? Welcome back to After Further Review. This is episode number 74. I'm your co-host, James Brown.
I'm your other delightful co-host, Shaquille Brown.
And I'm your favorite co-host, Malin. How's everybody doing?
Malin, we are doing well. Viewers, you can see we've downgraded.
Made it outside.
We are on our patio, little garden patio area here. So we wanted to join Malin smoking a cigar for once on this show, besides a few weeks ago at King Corona. So we moved everything out here. Somehow this is still less cluttered than it was at King Corona.
Yes, this is still more spacious.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
More organized than King Corona was.
Yeah, strange.
The 5 restarts we had.
Yeah,
I didn't even have room for 2 hands during that show. I almost had to cut one of them off just to make room. Ridiculous.
Gentlemen, would you like to open up with our shot?
Beautiful. But what are you gentlemen drinking tonight?
It is this rum that starts with a Z that I cannot pronounce. So, oh, okay. Well, cheers.
Yeah, I already went. I said cheers. Y'all behind now. You guys, the one thing that I will always give you 2 credit for is that you drink and smoke shit that you don't know how to pronounce, and it cracks me up.
Oh, that's how black people know they made it. They do shit they can't pronounce.
They'd be like, I don't know what this is. It's got like 7 letters. There's no vowels, so that means it's awesome.
Exactly.
Thank you. I'm glad you agree with that. I love how Mel just plays over the comments. Like, I'm not allowed to comment on this. I'm gonna go ahead and just keep talking.
Folks, we would like to say, if you are watching the show and would like to just listen to it and you don't want to see any of these shenanigans, you can click the first link down in the YouTube description and you'll be taken to Anchor. And then from there, you can listen to us on whatever podcast platform that you prefer, or vice versa. If you're listening to the show and want to watch the best version, we live stream it every single night right here at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. This is on the Melheim's Media YouTube channel, so it is us at the top of the channel, of course, and then there's a bunch of other shows right underneath us that are some sports related, and then there's a bunch of others that have nothing to do with sports at all. So if you're interested in that, it's the first link down in your podcast description. Click the link, you'll be taken to the replay of this stream, and then from there you can hit subscribe. Make sure to like the video while you're there, and also leave us 5 stars on Apple or Spotify, because, I mean, what else would you give us?
Exactly. That's only appropriate.
Now, no further ado, we're going to hop into tonight's show. So we are going to get to grading the rookie quarterbacks based on their debut season. We've got some interesting new stuff to get into. We, of course, got What's Up With That, and we've got Ride or Die in 25. But we want to start off our show talking about the recent KD news. He's been out since 1801, and looks like he'll be making his return possibly later this week.
Sorry.
So you can play another 4 or 5 games and miss the rest of the season.
Juan don't or Jim don't normally come with zingers like that with the 1800s. That was caught me off guard.
I feel like he deserved that one. So,
I mean, hey, maybe that explains the hair loss. I don't know. He's old as shit.
That would add up. So do we have any general thoughts on KD coming back to save his Brooklyn Nets, his new look Brooklyn Nets?
Well, I can go ahead and go first. I mean, I think he definitely can if he's healthy. Now he has been gone for like 19 years. But if he's healthy and he doesn't have to go back on IR and miss more games, I do think it's a game changer for him. Because, you know, New York did lift the mask mandate in the state of New York, except for people working still have to wear a mask, which is the funniest goddamn thing I've ever heard of in my life. Because Kyrie Irving still cannot play as an unvaccinated person, because because he's technically an employee on the court. That man can spend $5,000 and sit right next to his teammates and not be masked and to be fine. But he can't go into the game. So I mean, like, his play is about as patchy as Durant's hair. But I do think that Kevin Durant being a stalwart, if he's able to be there when Ben Simmons comes in, I think the Nets are going to be just fine. And I think they'll find themselves. I think they're like 9th or 8th now. I think they'll find themselves as like 4-3 by the end of all this.
Shaq.
Yeah, I think he can save them, but I think towards the end, he'll save them just enough that towards the end of the season, is gonna somehow Magic get hurt, and they're gonna save him for playoffs, and then that's when it's gonna make his resurrection again. So
you think he'll come back for like a couple weeks and then get hurt again?
He'll get hurt again because they know damn well this man ain't gonna survive the rest of the season and playoffs. So he's magically gonna get injured again.
Here's the thing. When did we start talking about Kevin Durant like we do Anthony Davis? Like, when did they get on the same level of being hurt?
But the difference is,
it's weird.
KD actually performs when he's out there and does what he's supposed to do, and AD when he's out there is still kind of like
coin toss.
What version of AD are we really getting though?
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
I'm going to agree with Shaq on this one. His medical history has not served him well when it comes to basketball.
Well,
I don't. He'll probably have another little.
He's gonna lose his kneecap next game.
I'm not saying anything's keeping him out long term. Thinking, a little ding here. He'll be out for a couple weeks, and then he'll probably be back right in time for the playoffs to start, so he can actually make his run when it counts. But I don't think there's going to be too much of concern. The Nets now have their new key piece. Ben Simmons is there. I think. All right, stop. I think Ben Simmons is a good fit in Brooklyn. However, him and Kyrie, him and half of Kyrie, can they carry the Nets while KD's out? I don't know. What do you guys think?
The only thing that makes me nervous about Ben Simmons and Kyrie is that they're just so damned emotional, and they're dealing with the New York media. And so part of me kind of wonders, like, as they get into this, if it gets closer to playoffs, or maybe they're in a tight series and someone has a bad game, the New York media starts riding them a little bit, like how much of that could possibly get into their heads. But I mean, like, Kyrie just went into, what was it, Milwaukee? And just blew him up all by himself last week. So, I mean, Kyrie still has it. But I just kind of wonder about the mental fortitude of the two. It's not like Durant is going to be going into the playoffs with people in Golden State that are battle hardened. They know what it's like. They know what to expect. So I don't know. The mental fortitude game is going to be a little interesting.
Yeah, that was my biggest issue with the original Brooklyn Big Three. Was just three very emotional guys that are just all over the place on stuff, which is what I figured would be their undoing. But the good news is they swapped out that third piece for just as an emotional third piece.
Listen, and don't we all wish that we could be as lucky as James Harden? Like, whenever you're not happy at work, you could just eat a lot of tacos and they send you to where you want to go. And then you can just, I don't know, not eat for 5 days and then lose all the weight and be fine and go out there and score 56 points in 2 games. I mean, like, what the hell? He's done it twice now. Man,
he has
man's
the recipe
body
figured out.
Yeah. Man, that man lost more weight in 5 days than I have in like 2 months running on the treadmill like 5 days a week. Like, I don't know what it is that he does to drop all that weight, but I was like, oh, look at him. He lost all that weight again. How smile his face looks all of a sudden. The muffin top's gone.
It's magical what not
Great.
eating strip club food will do to you for 5 days.
That man is focused. So I don't know.
Anything else you guys want to mention about the Durant Nets situation before we move on?
Well, then I don't understand why everybody gave LeBron James shit over his receding hairline for years, but ain't nobody ever talk about Kevin Durant's head. Never.
I think his is worse
Never.
than LeBron's, in my opinion. But
Like KD's is like a bush in the wintertime that never grows back. It's just really weird. I don't get it. That's why I shaved my head. It's the same damn thing, but I just went bald. Jordan did the same thing. That's why Jordan was
Yep.
bald.
Yep.
He's like, fuck it, it ain't coming back. We didn't have Rogaine back then. Yeah. So, all right. Moving on, people. Enough about hair, because I don't have any.
We are going to grade the rookie quarterbacks based on their first year of play. So we're only going to grade the big names, the top 5 picks. Sorry, Davis Mills, but I don't think you're going to be making our grade book. So what we're going to do, we'll start at Trevor Lawrence, number 1 pick, and then work our way down to Mac Jones. So, yeah. Letter grades, folks. Would anybody like to volunteer? Looking for my phone where I have this written down.
Go ahead, Shaq.
I just gave Trevor Lawrence a C+ in my book of his overall performance. I don't know if it has anything to do with, of course, a team that he ended up on and the situation, because of course all the drama that revolves around that chaotic team and everything. But like, I don't know if I expected a lot more from him with how high he was in that draft, but I did not get what I expected out of Trevor Lawrence. Still okay. I feel like this man still has a lot. Of course, this is rookie, so there's always that rough patch trying to get through. So it's always a lot of potential. I just think while he's on that team and with what he's got, you better hope that rookie contract treats him, get paid off, and just hurt him and leave somewhere else.
I'm a little more optimistic on Trevor Lawrence here. He did, threw for 3,641 yards, 12 touchdowns, 17 picks, Jesus. But he finished with almost a 72% passer rating in the end, which I do feel like his passer rating is a pretty good indication of where he was at, like C- ish. Yeah, he was one of the dudes that just got thrown into a pretty bad situation. He made some pretty boneheaded mistakes throughout the year. I mean, 17 picks is pretty hard to back up, but he had some bright spots. He definitely had some bright spots, but I feel like he just played pretty average. And once now that Urban Meyer's out of there and Dougie P's coming in, I think he's on the rise. I don't think he'll have to get up out of there like Shaq thinks, but I think Jacksonville has a pretty bright future ahead of them for sure. But yeah, that's my take on Trevor Lawrence. Malin?
I love how he said that you're more optimistic about Trevor Lawrence, but you gave him a worse grade than Shaq did because he said C+ and you said C-. So that's
Right, he's
funny.
got more room to grow.
He's like, I'm the glass is half full. You suck. I'll give him a C grade. He was the only quarterback outside of Jones to play in 17 games. And he said he had 17 picks, but he also had 5 fumbles. So the man had 22 overall turnovers for the year. So when you think about it, like that 71.9 rating, that might be good in like 1990, but not in 2021. Like, that is not a good rookie year. And he was actually, I mean, you talk about him being better off without Urban Meyer, but he wasn't. And I understand that Urban Meyer was grinding on some person that wasn't his lady. I get it. Probably needed to be fired. Understandable. But Trevor Lawrence only threw 4 touchdowns in the last 10 games of the season, 9-18. Only 4. So he threw a third of his touchdowns in the last 10 games of a 17-game season. So he definitely did not get better as the year went on.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go ahead and give him a C just because of the talent. that I think that we all know that he has, with kind of the understanding that hopefully with Doug Peterson, maybe he's a little bit more faithful to his lady, and actually goes with the team back on team planes from road games. That'd be cool if a coach did that. Maybe a little bit more consistency will help him out a little bit. And hopefully it'll be a little bit better next year. But as far as Jacksonville having a bright future, I mean, their war cry is their county, for God's sakes. They just scream Duval because they're a bunch of drunken idiots. So I don't know about that whole bright future
You have to be
thing.
intoxicated by Jacksonville Jaguar tickets.
You don't have to be rich, though, because they're practically giving them away. So
Do you have a way to get to the stadium? Here are your tickets.
Moving on to Mr. Zach Wilson. Anybody volunteer to go on BYU's finest here?
Oh, I can go ahead and start on this one.
Go right ahead.
The second coming of Jim McMahon coming out of BYU, little blonde-haired golden boy. He played in 13 games. Why? Because he's going to get hurt. And he almost lost his starting job to White. And he's very lucky that White ended up playing another game and playing terrible. Otherwise, you might not have ever heard of Zach Wilson again. But the best games at quarterback for the Jets were not quarterbacked by Zach Wilson, so that should tell you something.
Yeah.
He played 13 games, 2,300 yards. He had 9 touchdowns, 12 turnovers. So that's not too bad. But he also had a 69 rating, 69.7. That was even worse than Lawrence. But again, it's not like they have a whole lot of talent on that offense. I don't think anyone was really expecting the Jets to do a whole lot. But in my opinion, and the rating kind of shows it, like he had the worst stats of anybody out of a rookie quarterback. So I'm gonna go ahead and give him a C- on this one.
I'm gonna give him a D-. I felt like he was absolutely god awful. I had some fairly high expectations for Mr. Wilson coming into his rookie year until he was hit by the train known as the New York Jets head first. The only reason I didn't slip him down to an F is just because he does play for the Jets, and that last bit there, I can't put all of it on him. Yes, like you said, the 69 rating is pretty bad in 2021-22. A lot of boneheaded mistakes and a bit of deer in headlights at times. So Zach Wilson, a lot of room to improve, but unlike Trevor Lawrence, Jets, that's a tough hole to climb out of.
The only difference is that I don't know that he's going to improve. It's not like BYU was playing world beaters in college. Trevor Lawrence was beating the SEC and winning title games.
Right.
Like, unless it was Joe Burrow, who's just cool with everybody else. Fine.
Shaq.
I'd give him a D+. I was gonna put him closer to Lawrence because of turnovers, and I remember that he didn't play as many games. He didn't play a full season, so there was always opportunity for him to turn the ball over even more. So,
That's true.
I was about to say D+. The fact that it took you out as supposed to be hoping to be a face of their franchise, and the Jets decide to bench you. There's a lot for the process of D+.
All right. Moving along to Mr. We got next, Trey Lance. Trey Lance, interesting one here. So him and Justin Fields kind of in and out of the starting spot throughout the year. So for these two guys, bit harder to get a good feel on, especially Trey Lance for me. Like, I don't know. It just seemed like he really did not play much at all, but only 603 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but he finished with a nice 97.3 passer rating.
Oh,
It's strange, just very strange, but I just gave him a C. I don't know. He's one of those dudes where it was just really hard for me to gather much of anything. When he was out there, it just seemed like he was playing about average. I didn't really see many flashes from him like a lot of people did, but Yeah, that's my Trey Lance. Shaq.
I gave him a C minus. It's kind of on the aspect I didn't see a lot of him. The man still got less than 1,000 yards passing for the season. So it's kind of like,
Right.
what is there for us to grade him off of? So C minus for what we did see of him is okay. So
I'm going D. I know that he had a 97 passer rating, but again, he barely played, and he started games. The reason why this man gets a D is because he couldn't beat out Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. If you're not good enough to beat out Jimmy G at quarterback, and they have to potentially ship him off somewhere else so that you can start next year, in my opinion, Zach Wilson's a little bit better than you.
Yikes.
So listen, man, we're talking about Jimmy G, Garoppolo.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you couldn't beat him out. Man is about as average as creamy peanut butter. All right,
which he
it's
might
just
get a
freaking
starting
ridiculous.
position come next year. So
Yeah, it might be
will.
with your Steelers
Probably.
too.
oh,
If they're lucky.
So, but yeah. So I don't know. I just think it's a really kind of an indictment on how ready he was to play this year when the job was his for the taking, and he couldn't take it. So yeah. So D for Lance.
Let me ask you this, Malin. Both Wilson and Lance coming out of the smaller schools where they really didn't play at all their that last year in college. Do you think that had something to do with the fact that they both appeared so flat in their rookie season?
Well, I think Zach Wilson appeared flat because he didn't have talent. I think if you put Zach Wilson on San Francisco's roster, I think he's starting from day one at San Francisco. I think he beats out Jimmy G. I think he has the talent because BYU did play a full schedule the year before. They didn't play a whole lot of like world beaters, but listen, when you're playing for North Dakota State and you're only playing one game, I get it. And yes, there's some talent there running the ball, but I think there's more overall talent with Zach Wilson than there is Trey Lance. I think they're trying to find Kaepernick 2.0 with maybe a little bit of better touch on the ball. But no, I think if you put Zach Wilson on a talented roster like San Francisco, I think that Zach Wilson starts week one and Garoppolo's not even playing.
Fair enough. All right, moving on to Justin Fields. Shaq, what grade did you give Mr. Fields?
I give him a C. I could see Justin Fields as a C. I could still see room for improvement. He didn't do wonderful, but not god awful to my opinion, in comparison to these other quarterbacks we had in this list. So I give him a C for like kind of like a middle of the pack when it comes to these other top 5 quarterbacks that we have this season.
Malin, what'd you give Justin Fields?
I'm giving him an F, but I'm not even actually going to talk about Justin Fields because I don't think he deserves to be talked about in the top 5, whatever quarterback ranking we're doing for rookie quarterbacks. Would you get a 9-point QBR in your 6 of 20 for 40 yards in your first start against the Browns? And that's the way you come into the league, man? Shut up. Like, the 2 worst words that you can put together that makes Chicago fans cringe is franchise quarterback. Why? Because they've never had one. So no, I'm not talking about Justin Fields. F, fail, flunk, get out of here. You want to talk about Mills? Because Mills put up the second best passing yards, 16 touchdowns, 11 turnovers, with the least talented roster in the NFL. Least talented roster. Second best stats is a rookie quarterback. A terrible situation because of the whole Deshaun Watson thing hanging over their head about him not wanting to play and getting, when you're taking over for someone like Deshaun Watson, when that team was 2 years ago, they were a half a football away from going to the AFC title game, and they just got blown out in the second half by the Chiefs. And now all of a sudden you have no talent on your on your team, and Davis Mills, who was picked in the 3rd round, shows up and just, I mean, it's 2,600 yards and 16 touchdowns. Is that balling out? No, but with that roster, it might as well be. So I'm giving good old Mills B- on his year. That's what I'm doing. Top 5, putting in Justin Fields' a little sorry season. That's crazy.
You know, Mainland, you did. That's a very compelling point. Mills was in a much, much worse situation than Fields was in, and still looked way better than Jay Fields did. Now that I think about it, like,
and he only and just to give Mills only played in 3 more games.
right.
He only played in 3 more games because Fields played in 10. Okay, and in those 10 games he played, he had 7 touchdowns and 15 turnovers. Mills had 16 and 11 with like 800 more yards. And so I really, that's why I think Mills is head and shoulders above Fields right now. He definitely flopped in his rookie season. F for Fields, B- for Mills, baby.
All right, and then moving on to last but not least.
Shaq didn't get to go on the whole Fields thing.
All right.
I know I flunked
he
him.
gave him a C.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Oh, he did? You gave him a C?
Yeah.
Okay. See, it's not even that memorable for me to remember. So, yeah, we should have talked about him. Yeah.
All right. My man MJ10 bringing up the rear here. I'll go first on this one. Gave my man an A-. Felt like he played really very well this year. Minimized mistakes. Of course, he landed in the by far the best situation out of these 5 guys. But yeah, I still didn't see too much deer in headlights. There were some moments here and there in bigger games, but he played with, I felt like, a lot of confidence, and every single game seemed like he was getting better and better and better until the Bills absolutely blew us out in the playoff game. But besides that, I feel like every game you saw growth. And his ceiling, I think, out of all 5 of these guys, is probably the lowest. But with that still being said, we still have not seen the best of Mac Jones yet. And I'm, as a Patriots fan, highly looking forward to seeing what that looks like as the coaching staff starts to take the training wheels off slowly. MJ10, great year. Let's go, Mac Jones. Malin?
I also give him an A-. I mean, he threw for 3,800 yards, 22 touchdowns. He did have 13 turnovers, but he had a 92.5 passer rating. And he did exactly what the Patriots wanted him to do in his first year. The only game that I thought may have been like a glaring weakness for him was in that game against the Bills where Bill Belichick was like, "Fuck you, you're only throwing the ball 3 times." That was the only one I was like, "Damn, man." But even if that was like normal temperature games, the man probably throws for over 4,000 yards for the year. If there were like normal temperatures in that game and he was able to kind of air it out a little bit against the Bills. I don't know if they would have won against the Bills. I think that was one of Bill Belichick's better coaching performances. But the thing I'll say about Jones is that a lot of people, and I just heard you say that his ceiling is probably lower than that of most of the other quarterbacks. And I disagree on that. If you want to talk about like arm strength or physical ability, maybe I'll give you that. But his mentality, the way he approaches the game, I think gives him an edge above most of these other quarterbacks that are just as talented outside of maybe Trevor Lawrence. Because he has an approach to the game that reminds you of, somebody like, in my mind, somebody like a Joe Burrow, but he's just not as talented maybe throwing the ball, but he's going to give you everything he has. And Patriots fans should be happy. I mean, hell, they went from a guy that was picked number 199 that looked like me getting drafted out of Michigan, and he ended up being the greatest of all time. So they're used to taking people that maybe don't have the raw athletic ability, but they have the right mentality, and winning football games. And I think that's exactly what Bill Belichick needs. And as far as the offensive weapons goes, I mean, damn, it's right on par with the Jaguars, in my opinion. I can't name a single receiver or running back or offensive lineman that the Patriots have. I can't do it. And I know a lot about football. So he didn't have a whole lot of talent to be throwing to. And he still threw for almost 4,000 yards. So I give that man some props. He did a lot better than I think people thought he was going to.
Nelson Aguilar was on our team. Just leave it at that. Go ahead, Shay.
Yeah,
I also give it.
Didn't he? Hold on. Didn't he also used to play for Philly, and he was like a nobody there too?
Yep, and Philly fans called him out for. There was some news story of a burning building in Philly, and people were throwing babies out the windows, and people on the street were catching them. And somebody said, "We got people out here on the street catching babies when it really matters." Unlike Aguilar.
Yeah, Aguilar can't catch it. Have people out there catching babies out of burning buildings. Put them in an Eagles jersey. But yeah, that's who he was throwing to. Some no-name person catching babies out of burning builder has more notoriety than Aguilar in the NFL. So that's what Jones was cooking with. All right. Walk that man to make filet mignon and a flank steak. This is stupid.
I also give this man an A-. The man did wonderful for a rookie quarterback. Probably did better. A lot of these quarterbacks have been in the league for a couple of years this season. Like you said, even with this one game that he had this season where he threw 3 times for the whole entire game, this man be able to clear 4,000 yards probably easily this season. They would have aired it out. Probably wouldn't have won, but he would have got a good buffer to his stats. A-, I feel like down the line you'll definitely see a lot of, I wouldn't say extreme growth, like kind of agreeing with y'all saying, but a lot of potential if he stay. Of course, he's gonna stay with the Patriots of all teams. So I'm very impressed with this man. His career is gonna be very impressive if they keep a good coaching staff around him.
And I mean, hey, he made a Pro Bowl in his first year. Now, I mean, I think everybody else had to back out before he got put in. And he stole the Pro Bowl with that dance he did in the end zone. That was hilarious. But I think it's kind of funny because nobody does the dance anymore after he did it. Like, nope, it's retired. Nobody's doing it. You're an idiot. But between him and Adam Schefter, I don't know who did it better, but Adam Schefter tore his ACL doing it. So Schefter got more skin in the game. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, it was a good rookie year for him. And you know, it's just weird just to having all these Alabama quarterbacks in the league right now. To having Hurts and Jones and Tua in the league, even though none of them are necessarily lighting the world on fire, but having 3 Alabama quarterbacks in the league with a college team that normally doesn't do that is actually kind of surprising and cool.
Right. If we could only land one of those Bama receivers to go along with MJ10, but maybe next year. G Money says Mac Jones is what happens when you have a quality coaching staff. They never asked Mac to do something he couldn't. Very well said. All right. Moving out of our grades for the rookie QBs, we're going to move into the news for the week.
Today's top stories and breaking news.
All right. So for the news for the week, let's pull this up here. All right. So we're going to start off a nice little segue here. We're going to continue with the college football line here. So college football playoffs will still not change. The format of the 4 teams that make the playoffs will still not change until the contract ends in 2025. Talks were had, and still here we are with the same format that we've had for the last while now. Malin, what do you think about the fact that the college football playoffs still will not be changing, at least for another few more years?
I liken it like this. I think that college, for as great as I think college football is and can be, it's so much like Major League Baseball right now that we're just like a bunch of monkeys trying to hump a football. Like, they can't figure out what the hell to do. Like they announced in the summer that like a 12 or 16 team format was like a done deal. Like all you really had to do was put a rubber stamp on it. And to find out that 3 of the conferences, the ACC, the Big Ten, and the Pac-12, voted against it. What the fuck? I mean, ACC acts like Clemson is still Clemson. And like they didn't just have it down here, and like they're not guaranteed to get a college football playoff every year. Pitt was number 12, I think, and they would have had an automatic bid into the playoff at the start of this year. So the ACC doesn't make any sense to me. The Big Ten, every time they put somebody in the Big Ten, which is not every single year, it's normally been Ohio State, but you know Jason Day with all that shit talking that he does is not actually as good of a recruiter maybe as people thought he was after he lost, after Urban Meyer's players graduated. They could benefit from having an automatic bid. But what I really don't understand is the Pac-12. I am from Washington State. I'm a Pac-12 guy. I grew up watching the Pac-10, Washington Husky fan. I don't know what the hell they're thinking voting no on something that would give them an automatic bid. I mean, I think they've only had 2 teams in the playoff since the playoff has started. Now, they did get their ass kicked both times Pac-12 had somebody in there. But they need that automatic bid. Like, they are like a couple more bad seasons away from it being a Power 4 conference instead of a Power 5 conference. It's ridiculous. So just to know that those 3 conferences voted no. Even Notre Dame voted yes. And they were in the format that was given, you would have your 6 conference championships automatic bids, and then it would be the 6 next best ranked teams, right? And Notre Dame would never be guaranteed the 1 seed and the bye because they would never be playing for a conference championship. Even with that being put in there, Notre Dame was like, yeah, let's do this because we're probably getting into the playoff more often than not if we're doing 12 teams. But these 3 people, I don't know what the hell they're doing. And to try to blame name, image, and likeness a little bit, that it's changing the landscape of football so much because college players are actually making money. I think that's just ludicrous and just idiotic. I think the transfer portal is something they really need to look at. but no, I mean, to say what they said over the summer and then not deliver on it is just a slap in the face to fans because all fans want more than 4 teams. So I don't know why it didn't happen.
Yeah, it seemed like after last summer, it seemed like, okay, like come next year, we're going to have a bigger playoffs, and just very odd that did not happen. And then, like you said, the explanation of the player likeness and the fucking transfer portal, like what the hell does that have to do with the playoffs? I don't understand where they draw the line between the two there. I don't.
And the SEC voted for it.
Exactly.
That's actually the conference that actually stands to lose.
Right.
Out of this whole thing, because when you start splitting the pie 12 ways, you lose money in the college football playoff, even though I know there will be more money involved. But the SEC's had like 2 teams in the top 4, like pretty much every damn year you've done the playoff. And so like it doesn't necessarily benefit them to do it. I mean, maybe they're just like, hey, you know what, we're the SEC. We'll end up with 4 out of the 12. I don't know. But even they said yes. So I don't understand why these other 3 conferences think that they're better than getting an automatic bid. They need the automatic bid.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Shaq, any thoughts on the college football playoffs staying the same?
Just leave it up to a group of people not to choose popular vote, but just to do what they want to do kind of thing towards the end of it. So that's just my kind of vote and run of things. It just goes to show that organizations will continue to do what they want to do towards the end of the show.
Flip a coin.
Yep.
All right, moving on to another similar situation here. The MLB lockout that is still going on. So the first two regular season series have already been canceled. Shaq and I do not watch any baseball, so I'll just throw that out there right now. Malin is most definitely our MLB aficionado on this. Malin, what do you think about the fact that baseball will not be going on for the foreseeable future?
Both sides have eggs on their face. When it comes to these disagreements and lockouts and stuff like that, like both parties want to win, and you're fighting over millions of dollars when we're just starting to get out of a pandemic. You didn't even have full fans in the stands for the last 2 years. You didn't even have any fans in the stands really, in 2020. You're no longer America's pastime. The NFL is the juggernaut. Basketball has beaten you. If you're not careful, hockey is going to be more important than you. And so for the owners to lock the players out and then wait like 45 days to be like, hey, we got 1 week until we got to start canceling games because apparently pitchers and catchers need like 19 years to be able to warm up for the season. Now let's get together and let's try to hammer out an agreement. They couldn't get it done. The players, to me, are just as bad. There was someone in the Players Association that said that they need to stop treating us like we're idiots in regards to the owners. Well, you know what? The players need to stop acting like idiots. They're angry that the average major league salary has gone down 4% over the last 5 years. But the reason why the average salary has gone down 4% over the last 5 years is because ownership finally wisened up and general managers, and they stopped giving out these parachute contracts, paying someone $300 million for 10 years, like the Robinson Cano contract that Seattle gave him. No one's doing that anymore. They realize that it's ridiculous. You're never going to get the return on the investment on the last 3 to 4 to 5 years on that contract, and you're paying people for past performances that probably weren't even performances that are in your club because you paid them in free agency from somebody else. So what the players are really mad about is that owners are looking at, you know what? We can find as good or maybe even better younger talent for cheaper. And they're mad about that because they're not getting those parachute contracts anymore. Well, I know that you guys make millions upon millions of dollars, but wake up. That's what it's like for the rest of us in America. If a company can find somebody younger and cheaper and get the same job done, what do you think they're going to do? That happens in every business in the country. So to think that they're impervious to that, like, I don't know, they're just completely tone deaf, just like the owners. The fact that we're missing baseball games, that the first 2 series have already been canceled. I really think, and I wish this, I heard this on a sports radio talk show today, from up in Seattle, where they had an idea of, you know what, like the first game that everybody gets back, nobody should go to the game. Don't give them your money. Don't applaud the players, because at the end of the day, what they're showing is that they don't care about the fan. They don't. They do not care about about anybody else. They care about the money that they make, and that's it. They don't care about the fan. The players are talking about, oh, they feel bad for the fans. No, you don't. You just want a little bit more money. And they don't care about the minor league players, because there's been some talk about how minor league players are paid, so much less money. This isn't even a part of that agreement. It's not going to change what they're making. So it's ridiculous. It's sad. They don't care. They are tone deaf to understanding just how unpopular this sport is starting to get, especially in a generation of people that like immediacy. And they don't understand situational sports, like baseball, where a baseball game can take like 4 hours. So you're losing younger generations. You're turning off older generations. It's just a really bad look.
Yeah, the only thing I really want to add on to that is just that's who suffers the most are the fans. It's like the people that do not make hundreds of millions of dollars, but will still spend their last dollar to come watch you play. and that's like their joy of the week, the month, whatever it may be. And then you take even that away from them, and it's like, damn, that's really unfortunate over just a money dispute of making more millions of dollars. It's like just pretty sad that that's the way it is. But
And I don't even know why Manfred is the commissioner of baseball. Like, he doesn't even like baseball. There's nothing about that man that says, yeah, I'm even a fan of the sport that I'm the commissioner of. All he's done is ruin the game and make dumbass decisions ever since he became commissioner. So what I would really like to have happen is that they come to an agreement on the CBA, and the owners are not happy with what they get out of the CBA, and they fire his ass because he's not good for baseball. If you're going to be a commissioner of a professional sports league in one of the top 3 or 4 leagues in the country, you should probably like the sport, or at least be able to pretend like you like the sport and not just treat it like a business.
Shaq, any input?
One of these short comment is, in comparison to what baseball used to be in America, is definitely dying, unfortunately, in comparison to other American sports. And you would think they would make a more immediate changes to be more relevant or keep relevant. Like, if you live in Florida, you dang well know that hockey is bigger than baseball to a typical Floridian fan.
If you live in Tampa.
Yeah, especially Tampa, where they would rather watch the Bucks and the Lightning play than any other professional sports. They want to see the football, the hockey, the basketball, and then squeeze in a little baseball if they get bored. So it's just the aspect of you're literally watching America's pastime, unfortunately, die down in comparison to the other sports as they continue to lift up. So it's just, I'm not a big baseball fan, but I can sit here and watch and be like, this sport's not what it used to be for the fans.
And when I talk about fans staying home, I mean, Rays fans don't even have to do anything different. They never go to the games anyways, so they can just stay at home. But what really sucks is that, like, as a Mariners fan, we haven't made the playoffs in like 21 years. It's been terrible for so long. We actually have so much young talent and promise that we got robbed of an off season in a free agency where they're picking up different players. I mean, they picked up the AL Cy Young winner. They're in the running for people like Chris Bryant and other people, and putting together a really talented roster that could make a run for the playoffs and even win the division this next year. And we're not talking about that. We're talking about a damn lockout because people want to fight about money. And so me as a Mariners fan, I'm sick of it. Like, I've supported this league for 21 years, even though my team's been god awful for all but 4 years of my 40 years of existence on this damn earth. And now you're ruining what could be a bright spot for me because someone wants to make a little bit more money.
Yes, the fact that people would rather go out and buy season passes, watch Jameis Winston throw a football around than go watch a baseball game is insane to me. Just saying.
G Money here in the chat, of course, shout out to him, says the owners decided on the lockout because they were afraid that no deal would be reached and the players would strike right before the playoffs started and cost the owners a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, and I hope they both lose a lot of money because the players aren't going to get paid when they don't.
Right.
When they don't get, so I hope they both lose money. They deserve it. Kick rocks.
Last thing on this, do you have a estimation on when you think that the MLB will pick back up?
I almost don't even really care at this point because once you start canceling some games, it gets really easier to cancel more games.
Yeah.
I think that within the next couple weeks, you'll probably end up with an agreement, and neither side is going to be really happy with an agreement they get. So all they really do is just waste everybody's time. And it sucks because I'm going to Vegas in April, and I was looking forward to going down to Sportsbook and watching some baseball and betting on some games, but they're not even going to be fucking playing. So, ain't kiss my ass. Manfred, what a tool.
All right, moving on to some NFL broadcasting news. So we've had a few switches at the bigger networks here. So Troy Aikman left the Thursday night gig to pick up Monday Night Football. He got a nice fat contract with ESPN, so he'll be on Monday Night Football now. Al Michaels left Sunday Night Football, and Amazon is currently actively trying to land him for Thursday Night Football, since now Amazon will exclusively have that. No more NFL Network there. And then Chris Collinsworth was staying on Sunday Night Football with Mike Tirico, who I believe he's called games in the past. Usually he's like pre-game Sunday Night Football, halftime. But yeah, Mike Tirico, he's been around NBC for a while, so not too much of a shake-up at NBC. I will say I'm so glad that the Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels duo has been split up. I could not stand them out of everybody. But I think the biggest one here, though, is Troy Aikman going to Monday Night Football. That is crazy. He's trying to get Joe Buck to come join him. I don't know if that will end up happening, but what do you guys think about these broadcasting changes?
Go ahead, Shaq.
I just like to switch up and change of faces, different like chemistry, different looks at broadcasting. People don't really, I guess the average person doesn't really pay attention to who's broadcasting, just like watching the game, but it's just like, it's different. It brings a whole different atmosphere when you actually have like switch ups like this. So it'd be a bit more entertaining to actually listen to commentary and like listen to the game when it comes to broadcasting. So I'm excited to see what kind of new chemistry we see on TV.
I think first and foremost, we have to have a moment of silence for Joe Buck because he's losing his cuddle buddy in Aikman on Fox Newscast. Because if there's anything that I hated worse than Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth, it was Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. Just
Really?
I don't know. Just I don't know. I can't. It's not appropriate for me to say what I would like to say. We'll get banned. But no.
Use
So
your imagination.
like
That says a lot about
Like-
the show.
like the just the money that's being thrown around at these announcers now. And I just want to give you a little bit of reference on this, right? Troy Aikman, he's a 3-time Super Bowl winner. He's in the Hall of Fame as a quarterback, right? Played 12 years for the Dallas Cowboys. He made $55 million playing NFL football, became a Hall of Famer. He's made $85 million already broadcasting for Fox. He's going to, now they have not released how much he's going to be making, but it is said it's guaranteed to make more than Tony Romo, who is making $17 million a year. So it's at least going to be $17.5, which means it would only take this man 3 years to make more money broadcasting from Monday Night Football than did in 12 years of playing in the NFL in the 90s. Like, that's just nuts. That is crazy to me that these people are getting. And now I know it's the TV deals, but like, does anybody, like, and we're fans, we'll watch whatever football game we want, right? But have you ever been sitting down here like, oh man, I gotta turn on the tube because Troy Aikman is broadcasting this game and I need to hear what this man has to say. No, we don't care about the announcers. We only care when we don't like the announcers. So
Right.
I don't really think you need to pay him $17 million to talk about the game while it's being played. I don't know. It's just weird. And just to give you some reference, okay, I think Dak Prescott's about to make $45 million for the Cowboys next year, so he's going to make all but $10 million than Troy Aikman did in his Hall of Fame career, the Dallas Cowboys. Money well spent. It's money well spent. Hope you can pick up the sarcasm on that one.
Buck and Aikman were actually my favorite duo in calling NFL games. G Money says.
No, go ahead.
G Money says I'm still gonna watch the Peyton Eli duo do Monday Night Football and ESPN. I've yet to actually hear them call a game, but everybody says that they're great.
Listen, I'm just gonna say it. If you like Troy Aikman and Joe Buck calling games, and you like adult films where people are circle jerking themselves, like that's what it is. Like it's just ridiculous.
Male
That's
never
just all
fails
it
to put
is.
like weird images in
Just
your
a
head.
big
you don't
ol'
need.
just a big old fest there. That's
Well, now
that's
America,
all.
you know where I lie.
This was a family show.
And you know that we don't have. It's never been a family show. Shut up, Shaq. And you know that the one thing I love about this is that I know that Joe Buck is not going to Monday Night Football because the one thing that Joe Buck is actually good at is calling World Series games, and he's never going to give that up. And he would never be able to do that if he jumped ship to go to ESPN. And so I know that that's why Joe Buck is going to stay at Fox, but he still needs a moment of silence because Little Buddy's gone. So,
Well, we shall see how this shapes up come this fall. Last but not least in the news, moving into the NBA, Bill Simmons says the NBA is interested in expanding to Vegas and Seattle. The Fenway Sports Group, they own the Penguins and Liverpool. LeBron part of that ownership group, and they would want LeBron to be the point man for the Vegas expansion team. This was a very interesting bit of speculation that Bill Simmons put out there on his podcast. But seeming more likely than not, what do you guys think about the NBA possibly expanding to Vegas and re-expanding to Seattle?
well, judging by the hat that I'm wearing, you know that I'm a fan of it. This has been a long time coming, and when you talk to any like NBA writer, pundit, anyone that's sportcaster podcast, they all say that it's a crime that Seattle doesn't have a basketball team. They did dirty by Stern and Bennett, who's the owner of the Thunder, and how the Sonics were not treated in good faith, or the city of Seattle was not treated in good faith when it came to Seattle when Bennett bought the team. He was always going to move him to Oklahoma City. So I think it's about damn time that Seattle is going to get another team. Now, I would have liked it if, maybe another team, like I remember a few years ago, Sacramento almost went up to Seattle. Of course, I would have been rooting for it, but I wouldn't want to put another fan base through what Seattle basketball fans went through when they lost the Sonics. It would feel kind of dirty to me to get another franchise, so I'm glad that they're finally going to give us back the Sonics, and I'm glad the Thunder suck. Vegas is the other natural selection, and one of the biggest reasons for that is because they've already proven that professional sports can be wildly successful in Las Vegas. And this could, like Bill Simmons basically said, it's a done deal. It's going to happen at some point. And there could be an announcement as early as this summer. And if they wanted to, they could kick this thing off in 2024. Because you're not waiting for one of these cities to build an arena. They both have arenas. Seattle just got done renovating and basically rebuilding the old Key Arena into the Climate Pledge Arena where the Seattle Kraken play right now. And Las Vegas already has T-Mobile Arena where the Golden Knights play. So you have the infrastructure there. You have everything you need to just drop a team into those two cities. Now they're talking about the price point, and this is combined for both of these, is $6.5 to $7 billion for the both of them, which means that each owner is just going to get a check for upwards of $200 to $230 million. No one's going to vote no on that.
Right.
They'd be like, "Hey, do you want $200 million?" No, you're an idiot. Just give us your franchise then. Like that's what it would be like. Like who doesn't want a check for $200 million? And as far as the whole Fenway group, I think it's just really interesting. And I know that we talked about the whole GOAT thing with Jordan, LeBron, and all that stuff, right? If you have the Fenway group that owns the Red Sox, they own Liverpool, they own the Penguins, and they own all those stadiums and stuff, right? If LeBron James can become an owner of an NBA franchise and he's like the front man for that, and that franchise is actually successful and wins championships, and he can succeed in an area where Michael Jordan has failed, then you have a little bit more of a conversation on who is more influential and who's been better for the game long term over the entirety of their lifespan. You know what I mean? Because the one glaring thing that Michael Jordan has on right now is that he owns the Charlotte, but they're Charlotte Hornets. They're terrible. They've been bad. They've been bad for forever. Not good. He's not a good owner. Like LeBron James is a savvy businessman, and I think that if this group gets this team, I could see LeBron James playing for a year as an owner in Las Vegas with his son, making money, and then like building a franchise that could actually compete. The one thing that would be interesting is which team goes to the Eastern Conference, because you can't add two to the West and then keep them all in the West. So I'm thinking like Memphis or New Orleans. I think the West would like to kick New Orleans out. But Memphis and New Orleans are the two teams that kind of straddle that line. So I don't know which one they would do. I don't know which one you guys think that they would kick out. But someone's got to go to the Eastern on that. But I think it's good for basketball. It's good for basketball if they do it.
I always thought that it was stupid that Memphis is considered the West Coast, but as a Celtics fan, I would much rather have the Pelicans in the East than the current Grizzlies. So let's just make that clear. But anyway, Shaq, go ahead.
I've never been against the expansion for the most part. I feel like it would add an extra twist in the league, a little more competitive for everybody. So I'm very pro this expansion and be very entertaining for us basketball fans to see new teams created, shake things up, probably throw the Pelicans over to the East. In my opinion, just saying. But yeah, I'm all about this.
What do you guys think of the argument? And I'm all for this. I think it would be great to see two brand new teams in the NBA. That'd be crazy. But I've heard this argument thrown out a bunch this past few days. There's not enough talent in the NBA to disperse to two more teams now to make 32 teams in the NBA.
Yeah. I think that's bullshit. Sorry, there is enough talent. The problem is you have to incentivize these players to not want to have to continuously team up with each other. You have to give them incentives to play in the cities that they get drafted in. And so, like you have difference is that Las Vegas and Seattle will not be a small market team. They will have money to spend. This Fenway group will have money to spend. They wouldn't have problems being in the luxury tax. Seattle would have money to spend. They're in the top 10 major markets in the country. So you're not talking about adding teams like you are in Charlotte or New Orleans or other areas. Like these are bigger market teams that would be able to attract people that want to play. In fact, even Kevin Durant has always been on the record for saying that if Seattle ever got a franchise back, he'd be open to going back to Seattle. I think that's totally dependent upon if he wins the championship in Brooklyn. But could you imagine if Durant and James end up free agents and Durant ends up back in Seattle and LeBron James ends up playing in Vegas when they have these two teams? Like even just right off the bat, you're talking about fandom and people are going to want to go play there. So there's enough talent in the NBA. The small market teams just can't compete, but these wouldn't be small market teams. They would be able to compete for those free agents.
Yeah, I think the people saying that are just assuming the new teams would just be like the Hornets or the Pelicans or whatever, like the tiny teams right now that are really struggling to get any kind of foothold going. But like you said, that just wouldn't be the case with these two.
And does Memphis not have a good team?
Right. Exactly.
Does Utah have a good team? Phoenix has a good team.
Yeah. Milwaukee.
Milwaukee just won the championship. My God, like these are all teams that have been able to accumulate talent. You have to be able to draft the right talent with the right character, with the right people that want to stay and win. where they are. There's more Dame Lillards out there than people actually think there are.
Yeah.
So.
Well, cool. With that, we are going to take a break. When we come back, we of course have What's Up With That, and then our Ride or Die in 25. So we'll be back in about 7.5 minutes, folks.
Peace. See y'all.
Last man standing wins. Team Sonor is the 12th pick. Just that fast. Going back in. Who's going next? Pick 11. Oh, Team Nestor goes. Let's get these out of the way. It's a methodical process. Oh, Team Johnson goes next. Pick number 10. Didn't even care to eat it. Who's next? Oh, Washington football team, DC. Oh, hold on, technicality. The checks is still on the table. Going back in. Oh, Sloth goes. Sorry, Uncle Shaq. Gonna take the paper too. Fair enough. Okay, and then, oh man, Team Meyer. Is he gonna take it? Yeah, he's gonna take it. There it goes. Alright, who's going next? Oh, T+5 off the board. Alright, who's going next? Y'all, the paper does not count. Dowdy goes first, and then Team Lambert. It's going back in, last four. Who's pick number 4? Team Warren goes at 4. Who's going at 3? Oh, Talking Demon goes at 3. Number 2. Oh, leave your own dad. You put him at number 2. What a shame. Congrats to Morgan, Washington football team, DC, number 1 pick.
I will show. How about this? Here's my bet. I will show up to the bar with the Juju jersey. If we win, I will give it to you, and you have to wear the Juju jersey on the show next Wednesday if the Steelers win.
But Shaq cannot take the jersey off at any point during the game.
That's fair.
fair enough.
On the whole game.
They bring 5. Smith goes sideline. It's caught by Montez, who lost the football, and it's recovered by Sweet. Inbounds with the clock running and no timeouts. And they scramble to kill it. Down to 3 and 2. They line up with 1.
Yeah! Pretty freaking plain!
I'm chucking this shit. It's Del Mabry. If you're out by the way.
How can you not see that there is 1 second on the clock? This is emotional. Boy, you better spike the shit out of this, Gino! Oh, let's go! What do you mean, wide left? That was... No, he thought we were friends! Yeah, you better fold that shit up! We ain't done yet! Come on! Get off the bar!
I respect your attitude here.
We'll be quiet.
No, it's great. You're laughing and having a good time.
He's the one drinking beer. I'm drinking water.
Did you know AFR is also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts? Click the first link in the description below to listen to the most recent episode of the show.
8 fans fell out of the stands as Jalen Hurts is walking into the tunnel. I will just preface this by saying all those people were just fine, no serious injuries. They were all right, but goddamn, that was funny to watch.
Fortunately, knowing how the Eagles fans are built, the last thing you should do is lean their body weight against anything.
First of all, you got to be a real diehard Eagles fan to be reaching out that far to get a high five from Jalen Hurts. Like I said, is only averaging 188 yards passing a game. Okay, I'm just saying.
Live chat here, TW1. I swear, y'all come out of fucking potholes like cockroaches. Steady Eagles haters. We aren't going to win the Super Bowl, but we might win the wild card.
What does
maybe.
What does that matter? What does that matter?
TW1, 50% of teams have a shot at winning the wild card. Maybe.
I swear to God, these Eagles fans just really be riding whatever wave they can catch. They're gonna catch a rip off a puddle that would rhyme it.
I love how we're not even talking about the Eagles right now.
Yes, it is
Where the fuck you even find this, bro?
He's like, we're talking about the other team in Pennsylvania, people.
First question. Who is currently leading the NFL in reception yards?
I'm going with Arizona.
I'm a player. Sorry, player.
Larry. I'm going with Larry.
Larry who?
Fitzgerald.
Oh my God. No.
Current.
Currently. He's not still in the Arizona Cardinals? Where's he at?
Cooper.
Home.
Just drink.
Oh, okay.
Which current quarterback that is actively playing has thrown the most interceptions so far this season?
Heineke.
No. Okay, no. It's Mahomes and Zach Wilson. Dang it.
Really?
Yes.
Drink. You deserve that L. Do it.
Your head coach, Ron Rivera, he won a Super Bowl in the 80s as a part of what team?
Fuck it, Michigan.
No.
Wait.
NFL.
NFL, my
Super
guy.
Bowl.
NFL. Oh. Oakland Raiders.
That was a good guess.
That's good. It was Washington, wasn't it?
It was the Bears, actually.
Oh, the Bears. Okay.
Which current running back, has the most yards at the first initial contact?
Jesus.
45 seconds.
What was your
You were wiping your forehead. Don't worry about
What
it.
they got to do with me?
Henry.
Does me wiping my forehead change time?
It does because that's like a time zone.
Who was our quarterback in Washington or Redskins? He was the first black quarterback on the Washington football team. Why are you asking me this? Oh my God. Jason Campbell.
No,
hell no.
I was the first black quarterback.
Nigga, he's black and he ain't.
He was the first black quarterback on Washington football team.
Or
Doug Williams is just as black. Ryan knows he needs some water.
If Ryan makes you do the entirety of the show, give him a medal honor for it.
I mean, listen, hey, he thought that Fitzgerald was still playing, so.
Not just still playing, but had the most.
At an all-pro level.
Remember to follow the show on Instagram and TikTok at AFR Sports. That's it, AFR Sports. Now back to the show with your hosts Jalen, Shaquille, and Malin.
Welcome back, folks. Here we are with the second half of the show. Hope you enjoyed your break. Usually have some background music coming into the second half, but not our usual setup, so I didn't include that, but just you wait. Anyway, getting back into the swing of things here, we are going to pick back up with What's Up With That, our new segment on the show, where we air out what is currently grinding our gears, getting under our skin, keeping us up at night, whatever it may be. In order to do that, we of course have to take our second half shot. Thank you for the signaling there, Malin.
Don't make me sad, Jalen.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers, gentlemen.
All right. So, coming back into it with What's Up With That. Anybody have something that's just burning them right now? Something that kept them up last night?
I don't know about last night, but I'm going to make it brief. Just running off of what we talked about last show, why does ESPN and every single sports network feel the need to still talk about LeBron and Jordan day in and day out we understand. Yes, two iconic players of the league changed the league forever. But can we not talk about it every single day? You know what? Jordan, he cocked a little bit of a better, like, aesthetically pleasing than LeBron does. So, you know what? He's like more iconic. It's like, we don't talk about it every day. We understand. You get the point. Next time LeBron does something iconic, yes, we can bring it up. We can talk about it. But we do not need to talk about this every single time the TV turns on. Please. Can only talk about one thing so many times. Beating a dead horse. That's just it.
I am right there with you on that one, Shaq. Because I don't know. It's like I don't need to know when LeBron is celebrating Taco Tuesday. I don't give a damn. It's just like, you know, the way they come up with these stats too are just wild. It's like LeBron James is the first person to score this many points in the NBA with dribbling with one hand and not using his right hand and only used one leg. In fact, he crawled to the paint. He scored more points on his knees than anybody else in the NBA. Like, it's ridiculous what they do. And then the moment they do that, somebody in the comment section is like, well, did you see that Michael Jordan is the only player to do what he did with shorts that were so small? We're surprised the man was able to have kids. And, you know, it's just ridiculous what they come up. The stat machines at ESPN are just ludicrous, man.
Yeah, they're pretty bad with football too, but I feel like they're especially bad with basketball. Like, they find some of the most niche things to drill down into and be like,
every time LeBron is a third to come out of the tunnel, he does statistically score 2% higher in the games. Like, all right.
Honestly, like right now, if ESPN was not able to talk about LeBron James, whether or not Tom Brady is actually retired, or if Russell Wilson is actually going to be traded, I don't know what the fuck they talk about. Those seem to be the only three things. And Aaron Rodgers. Like, what did Aaron Rodgers have Cheerios, or did he have shredded wheat? Like, what is going on? Like, the fact that they were talking about whether or not there was a whole segment for all last week. Was Aaron Rodgers' former fiance laughing in the background of his podcast with Pat McAfee? Who the cares about? Like, God bless America. ESPN, man, they're becoming more like TMZ every week.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, Shaq, on that one. That's a good one. What is up with that shit?
On that same basketball note, we have to mention this. I'm sorry, but what the hell is up with the fact that the Lakers won 3 games in the month of February? I know it's the shortest month of the year, but what is up with 3 wins in an entire month? This is not football, people, where that would be actually pretty good. You're like, all right, 3 wins is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's basketball now.
Yeah, if the Rams won 3 games in a month, everyone was like, "Oh, they're great." You know, I didn't even realize. I got so used to the Lakers losing that I didn't realize they only won 3 games in February. And you know, if it had been a leap year, they still would have only won 3 games in February. They're just not a good team, man. And they were asking LeBron James about, you know, the rest of the season. And he was using some weird ass metaphors like that man was taking fucking acid. And it was really weird. I don't know if you guys heard it, but there was like tiger teeth involved. I think I was like, what are you saying? just say that Westbrook can't hit a 3 if they made the hoop the size of like an outdoor pool, and say that Anthony Davis is about as healthy as the bubble boy from the movie in the 80s with John Travolta. Like, just go ahead and say that. That's more interesting than talking about tiger teeth and all this other dumbass stuff. But no, they're lucky they won 3 games in February. They're lucky.
I bet you Lakers fans are like, wait, we actually won 4 because Team LeBron won the All-Star game, so technically there was 4 wins in the month of February.
Oh, Lakers fans, I love it.
Actually, I think Laker fans are like, we don't even care. Like the Dodgers are winning the World Series and the Rams are winning the Super Bowl,
Yeah, that's
and the USC just got a new coach and they're going to be back in the talking next year in college football. Like the Lakers, they went real quick from being the talk of the town in the bubble to being like the sport being left out in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, would you rather go watch Russell Westbrook at the Crypt, or would you rather go to SoFi Stadium and watch Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, and OBJ? Like, come on.
Is that actually a question?
I'd rather go to SoFi Stadium and watch like the opposing team, because that's what everybody does anyways. Is SoFi Stadium? It's always 60% the opposing team.
I'd rather drink 3 of those voodoo barrel to watch a Lakers game at this point in time.
Voodoo spin cycles.
That's what my brain's gonna be like, because it's spin cycle after drinking them.
I know I'm about to age myself on this one, but every 40-year-old is going to know what I'm talking about. I'd rather drink a bottle of Mad Dog 2020 than go watch an NHL game.
That sure doesn't sound good, I'll tell you
Watch
that.
the Lakers right now. Listen, it is. Whew, man, you want to talk about, like, if you ever feel like, you know what, I woke up this morning, I need to puke. I'll get you some Mad Dog 2020 to help you out. But anyway, okay, so, yes, what's up with that? The Lakers, they're terrible. That's not new news though, but it is news. I thought we were gonna go through a whole show not talking about the Lakers. God damn it, Jalen.
And Harry are 2 consecutive topics.
I know. So my what's up with that is, what the hell are the Cardinals doing, re-upping Cliff Kingsbury with a contract extension through 2027, and the GM through 2027 as well? What the hell? Like, the man, as I've stated before, great the first half of the year. College and NFL, 67% winning percentage. Second half of the year in college and the NFL, 33% winning percentage. And win games. They extended this man because he made the playoffs in his 3rd year. They got the brakes beat off him so bad by the Rams that freaking Kyler Murray scrubbed anything Cardinals related, all his social media, because he was like, "Fuck this! I'm not going to be associated with these dumbass people." Like, that's how bad they beat the brakes off of him. That Kyler Murray's like, "Nah, I'm not a Cardinal fan anymore. Nah, screw this. I'm not even associating with him." So I don't understand why they, in the most competitive division, are like, you know what? We're going to go ahead and re-up a coach that can't win in November and December, much less January or February, because that seems like a good idea. So that's my what's up with that. That's just insane.
Do you think that was the Cardinals, like front office leadership trying to stick it to Kyler Murray and basically saying, like, you can do your shenanigans, but we're not going to, nothing's changing up here, basically?
If that is what they did, then they're even more inept and idiotic than they thought they were. Because as much as Kyler Murray is made of porcelain, he's still the best player they got on the team. And he's the only player that really does keep them relevant, even though he doesn't even really play that good in the second half of the year either. But I do think that Kyler Murray, if you want to talk about a second what's up with that, what the hell is his agent doing putting out a full-page manifesto on why he thinks that his quarterback deserves a $50 million contract? Maybe play a full season. Maybe start every game and win a playoff game. Like, everyone was bitching about Dak getting $45 million when he had only won one playoff game. Kyler's been the one, and he looked like he could have played better maybe playing Little League Baseball than being on that field against the Rams. It was atrocious. Like, you play a game that bad in the playoffs, and then you act like y'all better pay me $50 million a year. Are you out of your mind? What? How? I don't understand that thinking.
G-Money
Help me
says
understand that.
That's the most Cardinals thing they could do. Both parties in this seem tone deaf.
Listen, it's not like
It's
the
the heat.
Cardinals
The heat
weren't
in
going
Arizona.
out there. It's not like the Cardinals weren't going out there and trying to get talent, right? Like
Yeah,
they got
right,
DeAndre
right.
Hopkins, they got Watt, they pulled other people in there, right? Like if the Seahawks had traded for someone like DeAndre Hopkins, Russell Wilson would have forgot about Sierra. He would have ran into John Schneider's office and made out with him. All right, that's how ecstatic Russell Wilson would have been. But Kyler Murray is like, nah, that's not good enough. Y'all need to do more. Pay me $50 million a year and give me more talent on the team. I don't know if it's too many head injuries. I don't know if he's just given bad medication for all the little injuries he gets that causes him not to be able to run or do things. But it is just asinine. I don't know. Like Shaq. Listen, the Steelers don't even have a quarterback. But you tell me, like, what would you, like, if you're a Cardinals fan, how would you react to that coach getting re-upped while Kyler Murray is like, pay me $50 million a year? It's ridiculous.
For the audacity of asking $50 million a year, we're gonna pay you less than what we paid you last year for for being here. Big Ben at his old age played more games than you did in your youth.
So we're all in agreement that I just made up that word agreement. That Kyler Murray is worth paying $50 million. Is not worth.
not
Sorry,
paying.
is not worth.
Not
Absolutely
really,
not.
no,
I can give you
absolutely
50
not.
V-Bucks. Is that?
I mean, I think he deserves to make, I don't know, like maybe upwards of like 35. Like give him a contract to 35, maybe 40, because you know how it is with contracts. Like once you get to a certain point and you're the next man up for a contract and you're a quarterback and you know you're going to get a lot of money. But there's nothing about Kyler Murray trying to get more money when it's not even his turn. Like he's trying to force their hand to give him more money, yet he wants more talent. And listen, I know I just gave the Cardinals some kudos, okay, for like bringing in all his talent, but they re-upped a guy that drafted a quarterback in the first round, and then after 1 year, ditched him off to Miami, and then drafted another quarterback in the first round. And now this quarterback is throwing a fit and wanting more money. Like, he's not even a good he's not even a good GM as far as drafting. So the fact that both of them are under contract till 2027, Kyler Murray's pulling a little stunt like he needs a diaper. It's great for me as a Seahawks fan because I don't think we really have to worry about the Cardinals. But yeah, I mean they're not going to win in November and December, so it doesn't really matter.
All right. That is what's up with that for this week, folks. We'll see you back next week for the next installment in that series. Now, moving on into our most controversial part of this show, of course, the Ride or Die in 25. Moving into here. I'm going to switch you guys back over here because I did not.
Today's top stories and breaking news.
So you don't worry about it. Yeah, so our records.
I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
For those of you who are audio people have no idea what the fuck's going on.
People on video just got a couple different looks. Yeah, so Rider 925. This is where we give our predictions on who's going to win.
Which is really not their predictions, anything other than what Shaq predicts on their picks.
That's neither here nor there. Last week, Malin and Shaq both were 3-2 in their picks. I was 2-3. A losing week for the first time in a little while, but happens to the best of us.
Hey, do you want to remind America who has?
I was
better
getting
record
to
in
that.
these?
I was getting to our overall record.
I just wanted to make sure. want to make sure.
Malin is
Well,
still
step
in the
on your
lead.
toes and nothing.
At 42 and 27, Malin's still on top. I am in second place, 57 and 53. And Shaq is bringing up the rear here at 52 and 58. Anybody
Just
have
want to
anything
let everybody
say?
know. Well, I just want to let everybody know that, you know, Shaq was making picks for a solid 2.5 months before I started making picks, and I'm only 10 behind him.
I'm gonna need y'all to stop attacking me on this show. Y'all live episode in and episode out.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I just want to say this right now, and I've been thinking about it the whole goddamn time. There is this light behind Shaq, and it's the coolest fucking thing because I get to see a solar eclipse the whole goddamn show because of his fucking head. It's the greatest thing ever.
I was about to say,
I love it.
I literally caught me. I was about to say, it is amazing that we got to this portion of the show without a forehead joke. Yeah, this man let off this section with a forehead joke.
It's like a section of Space Force over here with a goddamn eclipse.
Jesus Christ.
I still think I did something in a past life to upset some sort of. I made spun somebody's head in my past life, and by default, damn. Go around headbutting giraffes my free time because like.
Okay. First game on our list here. Tomorrow night we have the Grizzlies at the Celtics at 7:30. Both teams pretty hot right now. Grizzlies extremely hot right now. I'll go first on this one. I am sticking with my Celtics, of course, even without JB. I think we'll hold down home court here, and fight off the Grizzlies, and will probably be a extremely tight game. John Morant's going to continue to be a problem, but our defense has been very, very good these past couple of weeks, and I think that we will be able to not stop him but contain him, and we'll win this in a close battle. I almost gave me a heart attack the other night against the Hawks, but I said we win this one. Shaq.
I'm going the Grizzlies to win this game.
All right.
I'd say the offense will still continue to be explosive. Defense will contain them, but just not enough. Ease forward in the fourth quarter, and the Grizzlies will claim this.
All right, Malin.
Kind of felt like I shouldn't have done that eclipse joke yet, because that means that Shaq picked my pick. I am a Celtics fan. I know that on the point spread they are giving Boston 3.5 points. Only problem I have, I go history because I bet money on this stuff. Memphis is 41 and 21 against the spread this year. Boston's 32 and 31 and 1.
Yep.
I just think with Memphis is so red hot. I know that Boston's been playing a lot better, and I know they're going to be in Boston. But I got to go Memphis on this one with the points though, because there's a 3.5 point. They actually got the spread on this game because it's tomorrow. So I'm taking the Grizzly with the points. Damn it, Shaq.
Yeah. Huh?
I'll be sure to mark down the points there.
All right. Man's got to make sure you take the technicalities if anything happens.
I'm taking the point spread. That's not a technicality. What are we?
We all have the same options here. What you choose to do with them is your business.
All right.
It's not like I'm taking the over under.
Okay, we don't need to shame the over under.
You only shames it because I'm the only one that ever chooses that option.
It's not why I call it a bitch move. I just want everybody to know it's not why I call
anything
it a
Shaq
bitch
chooses.
move.
I'm a bandwagoner. I make bitch moves.
Shaq, you're the only one under 500.
I don't need all that.
segment.
We heard Jay when he said it the first time.
So,
Every week when I update these, I always think there's a typo when I'm like, no, Malin can't be only 10 games behind. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
And That is why I don't play the lotto or bet on nothing because I know my luck.
Shaq just starts picking everything I pick so that I won't catch him. That's what he's doing. He's been doing that.
I know I did
he's been
pick
doing it for a
first
month.
before you. I did pick
He's been
first
doing
before
it for
you.
a month.
You had the ability to pick opposite of me this turn.
Well, he didn't do it on the Super Bowl either, so there's that. Next up, we have. All right, here we go. We have Shaq's Heat at the Nets. Also Thursday night. Thursday night, by the way, is a lot of great games on Thursday.
Wait a minute. You're saying that is not. You're doing me dirty again. That's not on the roster. Not on the agenda.
It was
for
not
me.
really.
You're killing me.
I don't know how that happened, but we'll have to talk after the show. The Heat at the Nets.
Let's go. Sure.
Tomorrow night,
do it.
7:30, so same time here. You have to be flipping between channels. Shaq, you can go first on this one.
It was at Brooklyn?
Yes.
So Kyrie won't be playing.
Correct.
I'm hoping that Homeboy's rusty after his long time out. He'll still ball, but he won't be KD. So I'm going to root for my Heat to win this game.
That is your pick.
That is my pick.
Okay.
The Heat to win this. All right.
Just want to be clear here.
I feel like this Strata 925 is just purely to attack me and what my picks are. It's like, are you sure you commit to that, right? All right. There we go. It's in the books now. You can't take it back.
I am going to go with the home team.
Let's see.
For no reason in particular.
Okay.
Ace Bandage is back. That's fine. Ben Simmons will be out there, and he will hold it down for the Brooklyn Nets at the Barclays Center while Kyrie watches him in the stands and
That's
applauds
the only
him.
positive thing this motherfucker has said about Ben Simmons in all 74 episodes of this show.
Simmons will be back. He'll put up 10 and 11 solid, good-hearted points and assists, and the Nets will win this by 4 points. Okay, let's go Nets.
Okay. I feel like you're trying to sabotage me right now, Jalen, because you're putting up games that you didn't tell me. And I didn't get the research this game. But listen, KD is going to be back tomorrow. Like you said, Ben Simmons is going to be back tomorrow. All I need. I'm taking Brooklyn. All right.
Let's go Nets.
Stop it.
Brooklyn.
Dog this team out all season long. As soon as I pick
Did I say anything bad about Miami? I just said I like Brooklyn in the game.
Stop it. When have you ever said you like Brooklyn?
Not everything's about you, Shaq.
Everything is about me in this series right now.
I know. That's why God gave you the forehead, so you got the biggest head in the room wherever you go. But not everything is about you. All right. Let's moving on. How many other games you got for me to pick that you didn't put down there, Jalen?
Do you have Golden State and Dallas?
I have that one.
Okay.
That's cool.
Good.
That's neat.
So that's the next one here. Who do you have winning that one? Same night.
All right, you're going with me first on this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Dallas is +3 on the spread, and I'm taking Dallas on +3 on the spread on this one. Klay Thompson is sick, but he's still probable. He's supposed to play, but on 1 day's rest, the last 6 games, Golden State is 0-6 against the spread on 1 day's rest. Meanwhile, Dallas is 6-1 against the spread on their last 7 with 1 day rest. And both of them are coming off 1 day rest. So I'm going to go ahead and take Dallas. I'm going to take the math and the science on this one. Even though my heart says Golden State, I'm taking Dallas. Shaq, I swear to God, if you take Dallas, I'm going to find a way to kick you through this microphone.
Titanic has to go down with all passengers inside of it, so I'm also going with Dallas. Home team here, like you said, Klay, a little sick, got a cough or something. So I'm going to say that the Mavs hold this down at home. They got some momentum after the layup line known as the Lakers that they just ran through. And yeah, I think the Mavs win this one at home. Shaq, go ahead and be the iceberg that we run right into.
The goddamn Titanic over here. If only we had some goddamn binoculars, maybe we'd miss this shit, but we don't.
We would
Jesus
see
Christ.
the gleam of the iceberg.
Yeah. This man's about to kill 1,600 souls, but go ahead, Shaq.
All right, after I got roasted for like teed off on me, I'm gonna go ahead and pick Dallas with this.
Couldn't even make an argument for the Warriors.
The one game that I thought I was gonna have different than Shaq on this one.
And you picked all three of us as the greens on. It's over. It's done.
Can I just mention that Steph Curry dropped 50 points in an All-Star game, All-Star MVP?
Stephen Clay about
Stop
to drop 35 three-pointers in this game.
Listen to this man. Listen to stats from an All-Star game, trying to convince me otherwise.
God. I mean, we don't even need to know the reason at this
Steph,
point, Shaq.
you played 2K yesterday, dropped 120 points for a team in 2K. It's like, relax.
I don't even need to know Shaq's reason why he picked Dallas. He just picked them.
Don't need
God
one.
bless him.
Don't need one.
Steph and Clay are about to drop 35 three-pointers in this game. And Luka's going to roll an ankle first quarter. I'm going to be angry for the rest of the goddamn game. This is ridiculous. Oh, man. The one that I thought, all right. Well, let's see if you got another one that I didn't have time to prep for.
Do you have Phoenix at Milwaukee, the finals rematch?
I do. I have that one.
Okay.
I got that one.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'll back in rotation. I'll go first on this one. This one's on Sunday, 3:30. Should be a great game. Phoenix, not necessarily disappointed me last Sunday when they played Utah. That was a pick I was wrong about. But without CP3, there is a little lost edge to the Suns. So in that case, I'm going to stick with the Bucks to win this game at home. Yeah, they did lose out to the Nets the other day, so primetime game, big primetime game. I don't think they want to lose another one of these. Bobby Portis Jr. will be out here doing his thing, jacking up threes and staring down the opponent. I think he'll put his Bobby Portis magic into the hearts and souls of the Phoenix Suns. And, of course, Giannis will do his thing. Bucks win this game. Shaq.
I'm sorry to say, but between Giannis and the Martian Portis, they will absolutely take over this game and win. Like I said, even with CP3, I feel like it'd still be a hard task at hand. And, yeah, just got to vote for Giannis and the Bucks. Melon.
I'm sorry. I was just having a moment of silence for this pick. Because I felt like that's a respectable thing to do. I have Milwaukee on this one because CP3 is not playing. And I know that the Bucks are in, cruise control trying to get to the playoffs. But they did get embarrassed by the Nets earlier. I think they're going to show up big. For this game, it is in Milwaukee. I will think that Milwaukee will win this game.
All right.
God rest their
So
soul.
say we all. And last but not least, Malin, do you have the Bulls and the Sixers?
Wait, who?
The Bulls and the Sixers.
Yeah, I got that. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Wait, Bulls and Sixers?
Yes, on Monday.
Okay. You and I are going to fight, Jalen, because you gave me Memphis and Boston, Golden State and Dallas. You gave me Milwaukee and Chicago. You gave me Philly and Miami. And then you gave me Phoenix and Milwaukee. So now you're giving me Philly and who?
Philly and Chicago. We should also pick Chicago and Milwaukee, though.
Y'all are sabotaging me. I just want America to know that I literally can show America the damn rundown you gave me today. I don't know when you decided to change almost every damn game we're betting on, so that's cool. Okay, so Philly and Chicago.
Right.
Okay. I don't think it's really going to change my bet. Because listen, Harden and Embiid have not needed any type of transition.
No.
They've been playing lights out. Harden has had in the last 2 games alone 56 points, 18 rebounds, 28 assists. Embiid 71 points, 19 rebounds, 6 assists. Those 2 players alone in 2 games have combined for 127 points, 37 rebounds, 34 assists. I do think that Miami and Chicago are similar in the teams that they have, in the construction of them, and the type of players they have, especially in rotation and off the bench. So I'm still going, because they're playing in Chicago, right?
In Philly.
Oh, they're playing in Philly. That makes it even better for me, because I don't even have to pick a road team. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Philly on this one. I was gonna take Philly over Miami, but you doing some voodoo shit over there with the games. But I'm still taking Philly. It's ridiculous.
I am going to agree. Whatever magic that Harden and Embiid have struck, I don't know if it's just puppy love or something, but yeah, Embiid is clearly just in heaven now. He's said goodbye to Simmons, the thorn in his side since day one, and hello to James Harden, and it's a match made in heaven, at least as of right now. So I don't see this role coming to an end against the Chicago Bulls per se. So yeah, I think the Sixers win this at home.
And Embiid has to be the front runner for the MVP at this point, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like even with Harden showing out, he's still doing just a little bit better. So he hasn't even had a drop off with Harden. Like, I thought that he was going to have a drop off, like Harden had a drop off with his weight, but that didn't happen. He's still been showing up like the last 2 games. So go ahead, Shaq, make me happy.
I mean, I know y'all tell me everything says choose, of course, Harden and Embiid to win this game. Those 2 alone are just iconic duo right now, Slim Harden and Embiid. So that is a choosing to win this game.
Let me ask you this one thing, Shaq. If we were picking Philly and Miami, what would you have chosen?
I mean, I gotta go Miami in my sense of the fact that me being a residential Miami fan, I gotta ride or die with my team. But
that is how Jalen fucked me on this one by making it
throw
Chicago.
that in there.
We should probably do Milwaukee and Chicago over Philly and Miami.
I mean,
think Milwaukee Chicago is more interesting.
In addition to, we can add on a 6th game.
Yeah, but I thought the 6th game was going to be Milwaukee and Chicago. You just said we should pick that one.
It's up to you guys, whichever one.
I say we do the one where Shaq isn't going to be a homer.
So Milwaukee and Chicago then.
There you go.
Okay. That one is in Milwaukee? Or
no,
in
it's in Chicago.
In Chicago.
In Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah. And that one I think is on Saturday. I think it's on Saturday. So Milwaukee plays them before they play Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I can go ahead and go first on this one. I'm actually going to pick Chicago to win this game. Only because I think that Milwaukee is up and down.
Mm-hmm.
They'll lose a big game, they'll win a big game, lose a big game, win a big game. And I think if they're going to drop one, it's going to be on the road. And so that's why I'm going to go ahead and take Chicago this one because they're going to be the home team.
Shaq?
I'm still gonna stand by Milwaukee to win this game. I'm just very confident this team, such a powerhouse of a team. So here we go, Milwaukee. All right.
Need I say more?
What? I didn't do anything.
Yeah, not you. This one next to me.
Oh.
Chi-Town, let's go.
Hyped.
I do think that if we'd have done the Philly Miami game, I think that would have been the safer pick for you and I, Jalen, because we know that
Yeah.
Shaq would have done Miami. But I think the more even matchup is Milwaukee and Chicago. So I don't know. I know you're going Chi-Town with me, baby.
Let's go.
Listen, Shaq, it's nothing against you. We love you.
It's everything against me.
So no, we love you so much. There's a whole lot to love, especially above the shoulders, but we got it. There's so much love. Great.
Y'all lucky I'm not a sensitive soul.
Anything else you guys would have mentioned before we depart?
Thank y'all for watching the show and being such a good sport about whatever's going on. Especially, look, dedicated fans, G Money, and everybody else. I'm still
Shout
waiting
out
for Brady the GOAT to
G-Money.
show up again. Yeah.
Brady the GOAT, we're still here, man. We every
Yes.
week we're still here.
God bless him. I will say this, that, I made the solar eclipse joke about Shaq and his head and all that. I want to know what dentist he goes to, because when he smiles, I can still see his goddamn teeth when he smiles, even though he's eclipsing the sun with his head. So that man got some pearly whites. And so whoever has been this man's dentist, props to you, sir. You have done some good work.
Once again, I appreciate y'all for coming out this weekend.
I have no comment. Folks, I want to thank you all for watching, listening, and until next week, have a good one. Peace out.
Peace.
Go Sonics.